All right, everyone, welcome to the stream. How is this audio? Let's make sure you can hear me and hear the music. And nothing's too ridiculously loud. Let's go ahead and show the project of the evening. All right. Let's check in on the chat here. Let me know if there's anything you guys are seeing wrong. All right. Are you using the architectural plans for this or just winging it? Turn on my mic volume a little bit. I am using, the track model here was based off of, exported directly from No Limits 2. So as far as like the layout is concerned, so that was not me. That being said, the track model itself was, and then the trains I did download off the internet originally for 3D printing, so I had to do some coloring and stuff there, but everything else is custom, basically going by eye. Like, I'm honestly not too thrilled with these back supports, but I also don't think they're going to be important enough in how I plan to use this to care about it, so we're going to leave it as is. Let's see here. Remind you of Coaster Tunes. Isn't that channel kind of gone? I remember those days. Theme Park Crazy. I don't know how I relate to Theme Park Crazy. But, anyway, yeah, we're going to be working on this today. Probably going to work on the catch car, I think is what needs done next. Earlier today I finished up the supports. Like I said, the supports are not perfect, but we're going to roll with it as is. We may also work on a control panel. So give you guys a little bit of background on this before we dive into working on it a little bit more. The idea with this ride is we're creating it with the intention of doing a video on the details of how a boomerang ride works. And so that is why this exists. We're going to make all of the important details. I have a manual for the Knott's Boomerang that has all of the information, like how to maintain and own a boomerang, essentially. And so the idea with it is going to be basically to show exactly what happens from the time a boomerang cycle starts to when it ends. Like every single safety system that exists, every single brake that opens, all of it will be shown. So that's what we're going to work on making. As far as anything beyond that, really just from here want to focus on those systems I'm going to show. So we're probably going to work on the catch car system, the brakes, a little bit of the control system, but we're not going to like make the actual what's the word, like actual cylinders where we're holding the air pressure or anything like that. We don't need to make it too ridiculous. Hello from Sweden. Hello from Ohio. Let me go through the chat here before we get started. Favorite boomerang is the one at Six Flags Marine World. Yeah, the new Vekoma trains were kind of more of a convenience. Also, you can ignore this. This is not shown in the render. I'll show you. You kind of see it. I don't feel like moving the camera, but it's not shown in the camera. It's just there to help me rotate to open and close the restraints. But yeah, let's see here. So, what accident you put on your channel that you think is the most unheard of? That would probably be, honestly, right now, probably the Birch Bay Slides video. I love that because that accident report literally just like existed its way into my hands, and I made that video in literally one night. It was the best. I don't plan on publishing the Blender file, but I certainly could if people really want it. I didn't do the best, I'm going to be honest. I forgot to subdivide the track. So the track definitely could be, what the heck? No, wrong. I hit Alt instead of Control. The track here, like, it's a little rough, but I guess it is a boomerang. So we aren't going with the most realistic ride model here, but it will at least be decent. What GPU do you have? RTX 3070, I think. Alright, how do you get your hands on ride accidents, ride manuals? So the ride manual I found several years ago on eBay and paid an arm and a leg for it, and then published it for free. I have a Google Drive file on my channel community page that has a bunch of cool things like that that I've found, so feel free to enjoy it. Oops. And then the ride accident reports, some of them are published by news agencies that usually end up doing a public records request to a government organization. But I've also done a few public records requests myself to get reports, so like Batman the Ride was done that way. Alright, let's get to modeling something. So I think we're going to get started with the brakes, because that sounds not awful. History of Music Express rides. You know, just made the list for Flat Ride Friday Season 2, and nobody requested those, so maybe someday, maybe Season 3, 2026, but not happening in 2025. Alright, let me get a reference image here of Vekoma Boomerang brakes. Luckily, there's a million of these rides, so pretty easy to find. Since we have the new trains, we will go ahead and do the magnetic brakes in the station itself. These rides are very interesting. A lot more goes on than I ever realized. Off screen right now, I am pulling up RCDB and like frantically going through all the different boomerangs that exist to find a good reference image for these boomerang brakes. I know roughly what they look like from memory because they're just the mechanical ones anyway are the same as a Arrow, but I want to have a reference image. We don't usually take photos of stations without a train in them and get them on RCDB is what I'm realizing. Could also do the ones before Lift 2. I should probably show the other screen at this point, so you guys know I'm not just stalling for time. Oh, here we go. I think it's almost usable. Right. Dude, there are so many boomerangs. I think that is mentioned in the video as well. There are like 50 of these things close to it, I think. Like, this is single-handedly the reason, like, any new Vekoma exists is because these boomerangs walked. It's insane. Oh, here we go. There we go. This might be the best image I can get. It's of the one at Prodder. I think that's the image we're going to go with. Let me screenshot this here, and I'll move it into Blender so you guys can actually see it as well. Here we go. All right. So we finally have ourselves a reference image. Really just going to move this just off to the side of the screen because I actually have a reference image pulled up myself where I can see this a little bit better, but just for you guys. How is that the Z-axis, dude? This thing is all over the place. Is really here for you guys to actually see what we're looking at. But there's some brakes over there, and we're going to use that as our basis. So we'll set that back over there. All right. Is there anything specific that makes Boomerangs rougher than other rides? I don't know. I just think this track design inherently allows some movement of the track, and doesn't have the tightest tolerances, so your wheels are moving slightly up and down, side to side relative to the track, which I think is probably the reason that these rides are known for being rough, but I'm not sure exactly, and some are certainly better than others. The worst thing is usually the headbanging. Yes, wait, do you make these? Yes, I make these. Coaster Rider, I haven't talked about your coaster life that much. If you want to know more about my opinions on specific rides and roller coasters, then I recommend going over to Coaster College 2, my second channel. I have reviews up on there. I'm actually probably planning to do a top 10 coasters on there soon. So that'll have a little bit more information. But my number one coaster is Magnum XL 200. But beyond that, I will we'll let you go over there and watch that where it's a little bit more fleshed out. Alright, so let's make these brakes, shall we? So I'm gonna need them to move together, obviously. Let's just make this over here, out of the way of the track. Dude, what the? And this is going to be a classic example of forgetting how to use Blender because I'm streaming. So I just want to start with this, and I think... No, not Magnum. It's not everybody's ride. Did I make the materials for the track? Yes. So I kind of cheated a little bit with the track. I'm not going to lie. This has more vertices than it needs. So the track... I did make, but I made it quite a while ago. Not the cleanest model. And then as far as this wear stripe goes, this is actually just a plane with a shrink wrap modifier. So it just kind of covers it. I'm not good at texturing or all that sort of stuff, so it is just a lot easier to do it like that for me. So if we go in to edit mode here, did I merge these? Oh, I didn't even merge them yet. So yeah, this is literally just a plane. So don't give me too much credit. Vekoma STCs. Never been on one yet, but I'm sure they're fun. I don't know, most rides I honestly really like. There's very few that I dislike. One ride I do dislike, and honestly, thankfully it's closed now, is the former Nighthawk at Carowinds. That ride, oh my, that one sucked. Going to just bevel out the ends of our brake fin here. Gets us roughly what we want here. Opinion on vertical velocity, it's fine. I think I've not been on the one in California. The one at Great America I've done, and it's fun. Better than the Wicked Twister was. Opinion on Magatani at Lost Island, not been on it. Been on a Vekoma SCC. It was glass smooth. Yeah, I'm sure. I've been on a few of the new Vekomas, like the one at Kings Island that just opened. Very smooth ride. So I'm sure they are all like that. Opinion on Planet Coaster 2. I like it. Very fun game. Definitely needs some polishing. But you know what? The first game started that way too. So it'll get there. Alright, looking at this image of the brakes here, I think we need to reduce our little bevel going on here. Just a hair. And then honestly, yeah, let's do that. just make this thin. This is going to be our actual brake surface that we're modeling now. Which I don't think we need a ton of detail for. I'm just going to make it kind of look brass-like, maybe give it a little bit of a texture. But beyond that, I don't think anything really is needed. Let's get our actual brake, the part that does the brake, the part that moves the braking part. Yeah, they're very much updating Planet Coaster 2. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm sure it's late over there. Yeah, I think it's one of the things with that game is it will slowly be improved, and you know, it sucks right now. Well, it honestly already sucks a lot less than when it came out, so you can't really, I guess, get too angry at it. It's not like they're just abandoning it and saying, oh well, this is the game, you have to suffer with this. To make this easier for myself, I'm going to start on our material just so I can kind of visualize it a little bit more. It used to be kind of brass-like, kind of orangish, we'll up the metallic, roughness, yeah, just need to be kind of brass-like. Yeah, that'll get the job done for now. It's not the permanent texture, but get the job started. Have you ever operated a Boomerang? I have not. My home park is Cedar Point. I live currently about 15 minutes away. Alright, how do we want to do this? If we just... If I get quiet, it's because I'm looking at the reference image on a different screen. And I realize you guys really cannot see the brakes I'm modeling it off of, but it's these brakes here that I'm basing this off of. There's also a catwalk next to those brakes because the evac procedure for a Boomerang on Lift 2 is to bring it into those brakes, which is interesting. But it is not something I'm going to probably model just because I don't think it's going to be necessary for the video, but who knows. Do I still work at Cedar Point? Yes. Yeah, I could apply a subdivision modifier, crank it to 16, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. Let's just extrude this down. So I really just need the backing of our brake here. Oh. Dude, I really picked the worst possible spot to do this at. We'll just eyeball it, it'll get the job done. I really think, you know, if we just mirrored this over itself, and let me actually extrude this as well, and then we can probably get away here. If we don't even have to extrude. Yeah, that's the shape of the brake we want right there. It's a little bit high. It's easy enough to fix. Oh my God. Classic example of cannot do Blender on stream. Alright, and just to make this easier, let me go ahead and set this to our material. Alright. That's looking kind of like what we want there. Alright, let's see the old chat. Hey, Kieran. Welcome to the stream. And thanks for being a channel member. If I've operated Top Thrill Dragster, I did not operate Top Thrill Dragster, but it was not reliable, I can tell you that. I formerly worked rides at Cedar Point. I do work there now, but I do not work on rides. I did work rides for a while, though. Greetings from the UK. Yep. Excited for parks to reopen, too. I cannot wait. It is snowy and cold here in... Oh, what the heck? Snowy and cold here in Ohio, so I am ready for some nicer weather. Alright, let's see this in the full rendered light. Would you recommend Planet Coaster or No Limits for a beginner? Definitely Planet Coaster. I would say No Limits has more room to grow, but No Limits angers me a lot of times. I still do not know how to use it, and I don't care to learn. I just pay other people when I need to use it, because other people have taken the time to learn it. Contrary to its name, it has a lot of limits, which is kind of annoying. So that's why I kind of moved over to Blender. I did used to use No Limits for a lot of the What Really Happens, and it, you know what? Can't complain. It got the job done in a simple manner, but not quite as non-limiting as it would make you think. So anyway, let's go ahead and mess with our texture here. This is going to be probably a slaughterhouse because I suck at texturing, but I know a very basic amount. So let's get our... What texture do I want? If I do this, I think... No, that's not what I want. I want... You know what, we're just gonna start with one. Noise texture, I think that's what I want. And let's do a color ramp. And we're gonna have to adjust our colors. Yes, that is kind of what I want. I need to apply the UV though. If Control A, all transforms. There we go. All right, let's see. What are the rides I've operated at Cedar Point? I'll go over the list in a second. 3D, yeah, it is a good skill to have in general. I agree. It's very fun, honestly. It's kind of replaced me playing games like Planet Coaster and such, which honestly I'm okay with. It's a lot more productive use of time. Alright, let's turn our scale way down. Okay, I like that, but I don't like how non-uniform it is. Maybe we do a brick texture as well. Alright. Yes, so rides I've operated at Cedar Point is a long list. Again, did I forget to apply this modifier? Or is it just not going to show in sculpt mode? No, what the hell did I do to the modifier? No, it's still... Oh, it's because I did that. Apply this first. Good thing you catch that early before you go through and do a bunch of stuff on this. Alright. That's better. So rides I've operated at Cedar Point. First ride I operated was Gemini. Then Mine Ride. Then all the Camp Snoopy rides. All the Planet Snoopy rides. Then, going year by year here, Magnum. Which I spent a lot of time at. I've done all of... So I had Monster, Lake Erie Eagles, Pipe Scream, Slingshot. Slingshot's a very cool ride. Making sure I'm not forgetting anything. Wave Swinger. And then in the front of the park, Raptor, Gatekeeper, Sky Ride, best ride to operate. What else? There's more. I'm forgetting something. Rougarou, Blue Streak. I think that's it. I think. There might be one or two I forgot. Alright, I am not figuring out this brass color. Let me pull up a reference image here. Roller coaster brake. Please, it's gonna be all magnetic brakes, just watch. Oh, there we go. Just want to see like the side of the brake, the part that wears off. I cannot. Dude, how? There really no good brake photos? I mean, this is it's about as niche as a topic can get, I guess, but kind of got one here. That site that sells roller coaster parts. You guys are talking about Six Flags New Orleans. I have absolutely no clue about anything SFNO going on or anything like that, so I'll leave that to you guys to discuss. If I decrease the roughness, yeah, there we go. I think that's getting a little closer. You want to decrease the scale here and play with the old settings. Oh yeah, there we go. It just needs to look a little bit rough, you know. And honestly, I think we do need to move this out a little bit. There we go. I think that gets the job done for our brass. Let me maybe just lighten it up a little bit. The reflectiveness here. Roughness down even more. And I don't want it to look too reflective. There we go. I think that gets the job done. Okay. There are really no good pictures of like a Vekoma Aero style brake, are there? I mean, I'm sure it exists somewhere and I'm just not looking in the right place. I probably have one. Okay, I actually definitely have one. Let me let me do that. That's gonna be easier than relying on the internet. SASTM presentation. Let's go for this. All right. Superimpose the word brass onto it. Yeah, that's a valid point. That is always an option. Using my 2020 photos. Let's try that. I'll show you guys. I have this massive collection of all of these park visits, essentially, from over the years, with just a ton of footage and photos. This is kind of my library when I'm making a video. 2020. Here we go. It'll be from an arrow, but I think that... Yeah, here's Gemini. I think that... Yeah, there we go. That should be good enough reference image. I bet you the Boomerang brakes are probably the same. Let me make sure there's kind of a better photo. Magnum. No? Thought I did. Sorry about the ads. I turned them to the minimum frequency, but it's January, so YouTube is all in on showing ads. Okay, yeah, that's the best photo I got. Let me... I got a couple. Yeah, that's the one. Is this better? Oh yeah, that's the photo right there. That's going to be our reference image. Let me move this somewhere I can find it. And let's open it in Blender. Alright, RCDB image, goodbye. Let's get a better reference image here. It's gonna be... July 2020. God, I hope this is it. There we go. Dude, this is a gamble. Scroll on it with a graphics pencil. Yep. Let's see. Anything new in here? Remastering some of the Flat Ride of the Week rides with new Flat Ride Friday videos. Yes. Actually, I don't know if I've shared the list for Flat Ride Friday, but there are a few remasters on that list, including the top scan. So, yes, there is some remastering planned. Should be some nice high quality versions of those videos, because I am aware those older Flat Ride of the Weeks are a little hard to watch. Okay, there's our reference photo. I think that's the break. Strange looking Doom level. I'm not watching the NFL game, nor do I really follow that, so I can't really comment. Alright, let's apply a weld. Did I really? Could not have made that any less usable. Oh, never mind on the weld. I do need to just extrude these top vertices just a hair. Just to make it overhang. Well, actually we need it to be flat. Oh, we can do that too. Alright, let me take all this and move it in a place where I can use the isometric view and not get absolutely blocked by the supports. Oh, yeah, exactly like that. Or no, actually, if we zoom around here, yeah, we're kind of there. All right, here we go. This up. I think we're just gonna pull these back because we need a flat edge. There we go. Now add some thickness to it in a minute. Still occasionally remember the dangling coaster clips. Oh, sorry, Kieran, missed your comment. I do not follow any motorsport, unfortunately. Watch this channel, so yeah. So dangling coaster even got a recent reference with the AI channel video, which did really well. There's a dangling coaster reference in the start of the first part of that video, so please, if you haven't seen it, you may get a kick out of it. Back in the good old days. Back around when I took this photo, I think. It was 2020, a little after. Okay, so we got our straight edge, and we're kind of overhanging, which is actually pretty much what we want. We got our brass on the inside there for the wear pad. We need this little spring here, and then we just need, I guess there's kind of a bracket that this sits on the track, and in the middle there's an air hose that inflates. This is how I understand these work. Now I'm not sure, but basic understanding at least. Air hose inflates and pushes the brake apart. Because if I understand correctly, they're by default closed, but not closed with the most force. I don't know the details. Not a mechanic. At least not yet. Reading you guys' comments. Alright. Let's go ahead and add this bracket. Let's bring this cursor. And let's add our metal bracket here. This will be the bracket that this brake sits on. Also, somebody asked a while ago, and I don't know why I just now remembered it, what this is for. For those of you that missed it, this is going to be for a video on how this ride type works. Essentially, it will walk you through from start to finish what happens from when you board the train on a Boomerang to when you get off. Every single, sequence that happens. So, like, for example, engaging with the catch car, going over a proximity sensor, and opening and closing certain brakes, all of that. If you were to be a ride mechanic at Cedar Point, which ride would you want to maintain? I don't know. This is gonna sound bad for a channel called Coaster College, but I do find water slides quite interesting, so I'd probably be interested more in the water park than anything. So probably that if I had to pick. This is our bracket here. We do need a little bit of depth to it. If I ever managed to make it across the pond, which park would you recommend visiting the most if it's a trip for coasters? You could do a pretty nice trip if you do a couple weeks and do something like Cedar Point, Kings Island, Kennywood, Hershey Park, Dorney Park, Great Adventure. Those are all very close to each other, so I'd hit all of them. Can do it all in probably a little over a week. Is that a Vekoma OG Boomerang? So I assume you're talking about the model itself, and that is a fantastic question because I couldn't decide when I was making it if I wanted it to be like the old Boomerangs or the new ones. The track style, because I did not feel like adding different cross ties at different points in the ride, is that of an older Boomerang, just purely for simplicity. However, the trains are that of a new Boomerang because I found them on the internet and didn't have to model them. So again, purely convenience here. But yeah, how many Tivoli remixes are in the US? Oh god, a lot. I have no idea how many. No idea. A lot. Almost every somewhat substantial showman, I would say, has one. I forgot to set. Set our faces here. Looks like we just have, okay, so on either side of our spring there we have a extruded element. So we'll go with these two. And we'll bevel this down. this gonna work how I want? No. Need more cuts. Let me do extrude these first. And then helps if you select both vertices. Nope, also not gonna help. How do I want to do this? Thanks for tuning in, Coaster Rider. Yeah, the size of the US can be quite a lot to get around, but definitely if you want to do a trip, that is definitely a good way to do it. Is hit those parks there, because you can do them all in about a week. And you hit a lot of good ones. Oh, I forgot Knoebel, so you can throw that one in there, and definitely that one's a not miss. But you know, your like longest drive between parks there is probably like Cedar Point to Kings Island, which is like 3 hours of non-stop driving through nothing. Especially going from Cedar Point to Columbus, that's the worst. Once you get to Columbus, you'll be on a highway. What do you think Kings Island will get for 2026? No clue. Let's see. Thoughts on Canada's Wonderland? Never been, but I do plan to go this year, so I'll have thoughts at the end of the year. King's Dominion. King's Dominion is very nice. Oh, we're not talking about King's Dominion. Good animator. Keep it up. Thank you. I'm okay. I would describe myself as okay. Alright, let's get back to this here. I can always do it this way. Those together. And we can extrude from there. There we go. That's more the effect I was going for here. Make them a little bit taller. Oh yeah, there we go. That's more what we need. Much better. Alright, and now this brake section here. Looks like we got a little belt that goes across that it connects to. And then, yes, so. So let's make this, let me move the cursor here. What do I want to make this on the mesh? Let's make this on the original mesh. Even though it's getting a little messy, we can make it work. Move this over. And we'll extrude this out. Going from Worlds of Fun to Six Flags St. Louis to Kings Island to Cedar Point for end of spring, beginning of summer. That's quite the trip. A lot of driving. There we go. Yeah, that's what we want. And then we'll make our little spring. Just really do more on Blender. Last time I used it, I was making GIFs of spinning 3D models ripped from video games. You do a lot with Blender. You really can. It is very impressive software. Honestly, I don't know if we need this little brake thing, or spring thing. I think that's going to be excessive for the purposes of this video. I might do... I don't know if I need to do an airline running to it. It might make sense just to show a little bit of one. Best coaster builder on stream. Yeah, I don't know. If I were to make this coaster from scratch, it would be a lot. Here, I'll show you guys here. Let me open. I got tons of different projects, but this is before I set the track, just saved as a backup. But this is from about 24 hours ago, how this thing looked. As you can see, quite a bit of work has been done since. It does, I think, it has the texture. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, this is where we started. Lots of work goes into these stupid things. Don't even get me started. I'll pull up, just because we're on the topic, you guys are interested, I'll show you the file for the Rapids, which recently got uploaded last week. This project is something. It's going to take a second to load in all these textures, because it's got to load them into RAM. And I actually have several things turned off, because this was the renders for this took longer than any other project. So here, I'll turn them back on. Yeah, this I had to shrink this lake because it was lagging out when it was over here. It was a whole thing. I really did not need to model the whole layout of the ride, because I believe I used that for like 2 animations that I hardly used in the video. I could have just supplemented them with real footage. But I did it anyway. And yeah, this project was something. I started this on stream. I actually made these raft inserts on stream, which apparently I have hidden. I was doing a bunch of work in this the other day for another side project. But we'll go ahead and switch back to the old Boomerang. Alright, let's check the old chat here. Glad to go to Kings Island, Cedar Point next year. Awesome, have a great time. They're both fantastic parks. Over Georgia for the first time. That sounds like a nice park. I'd like to go. Staying in Hotel Breaker's Presidential Suite. I've been in there once. Quite the place. It's gigantic. Although it's kind of like the old hotel style of Presidential Suites, where it's really just a larger version of a normal hotel room. But it's still pretty sweet. Very cool views. Used to live in Kansas. I've had numerous home parks. Yeah, it'd be neat. I've always from Columbus area. Always had a ability to go either to Kings Island or Cedar Point. Those have always been the two. All right. Now I have set for a full 3D POV animation. I'd be happy to do it. Probably will after this. Although if it goes anywhere, it'd be on Coaster College 2. So if you want to see it, I may make that, but it would be on CC2, so check it out. Move this over, essentially make our little flange here that it connects to the track with. And you know, honestly, that should do us for this little piece here. We'll give it a little texture. We'll base it off of the red here, but we might do a slightly faded color, since this would be less maintained. Oh, not quite that faded. A little rougher. I've already kind of started with a faded red, so. $2026 do an epic universe. Very nice. Looks like a cool place. Alright. I think that should be about what we want here. Let's check the render. I think that gets the job done there. Chat, do I make the hose that goes into it, the air pressure hose? I'll let chat decide. CC2, congratulations. Thank you for subscribing to Coaster College 2. Sunrise Thrill Tours was incredible. Made the trip worth it. Well, thank you. I assist with those, so I appreciate that. They had live music. It was awful. Thanks, Kate H. Glad to hear that. Yeah, Coaster College 2 is kind of new, so... but yeah, chat, you decide on if we're gonna end up modeling. Otherwise, it's a wireless break. I guess that's a yes. We have to. You know, I really shouldn't bother putting these things out to a vote because the vote always comes back as model it. Because you guys just think my computer has infinite rendering resources. It's okay. I'll just leave it on overnight and render it like I had to do for the last several What Really Happens. I can't imagine the amount of render time in most of those, the amount of effort in making the hose will be worth it. I'm really not sure if that is going to be all that noticeable, but if you guys say so, we'll do it. We're just going to have it run directly down. I'm not running it to anything. I've already decided that. We're not modeling all the pneumatics and how all that connects. That is not the point of this video. But we'll do a little hose connection. We'll start with a cube, I guess. Okay, we'll make a little. Looks like we had a little connection here. Kind of bevel the edges of this cube, and that will go into the brake itself. Kind of another brass fixture there, and then coming out with a little pipe. Do I weightlift? Yes. This must require a beefy PC. Yeah, kinda. It's not the best PC in the world, I would say. I built it several years ago at this point, but it gets the job done. Certainly not a weak PC, I guess. Actually, for the longest time, made videos on a pretty, I would say, subpar computer. You can certainly do it with less. Alright, let's bevel this. Something like that. Actually, honestly, how it is probably perfect. Let's give it that brass. Oh, did I not name my material? Ooh, L. Yeah, it's called material. There we go. Lots of RAM and storage. Let's check the performance here. There we go. Now we're not doing half bad. We've got a good amount of RAM being used. A lot of VRAM usage, but you know, we're not doing half bad. When I move around, it gets, let's see if it's spiked, a tiny bit. It's more the rendering that it comes in, especially the VRAM. I was literally crashing Blender over and over with that River Rapids animation because I was running out of VRAM. That Sunrise tour at Cedar Point made my family sort of need to do more VIP tours. Did an after-hours event at Universal Orlando last year. Yeah, that sounds like a blast. Yeah, those VIP events can be pretty darn cool, and once you do one, I imagine you couldn't go back. They're fun to facilitate. Merge that up a little bit. No. Go do a little cylinder. And yeah. Make this thing a lot smaller. Walk-on rides for Velocicoaster is great. Yeah, I can only imagine. I think I've only ever waited like an hour for that ride at best, so definitely, and that's, you know, the shortest line. I've waited much longer than that, so that's pretty unbeatable. Off is losing one of the last of its type, rides being Zulu. I'm sad it's going away, if true. Regarding rides making you grumpy. Go ahead. Watching the master at his work. Alright, don't get too carried away, guys. I learned this over the internet. This is a free software I learned over the internet. We're not top of our class here. Alright, let's add another cube. And scale this thing way down. This is our little turning point here where we go back down. And we'll texture this stuff in a moment. Six Flags has to chill with the removals. Yeah, we'll see. I think there could be more on the horizon. We'll see. And then hopefully they're chilled after that. What flat ride makes you the grumpiest? I'm not sure. Probably... Oh god, a Larson loop. I always get sick. Not a fan. But I think I'm kind of in the majority there. All right. Hey, you guys are too complimentary of this whole rendering modeling process here, because this is pretty low tech. Alright, there's our hose. Run that just down below. And that there should be just about what we need. Oh. We do need to make a little plate that runs under this. That would be a funny question. Yeah, it is kind of a funny question. Larson loops, not a fan, but who is? Alright, I don't know if we need to exactly mimic Gemini here, because this is probably not the exact same as a Boomerang. But let's do kind of an off-white color for this. Put that up a little bit. No, I don't need that. Just need kind of a messy white. Let's do kind of a darker, yeah. Shade auto smooth. Put this to brass. And then this, honestly, I like this pipe color. Pipe color. We'll use that. That gets the job done. There you go, chat. You happy? We modeled the pneumatic hose. It only needs to be on one side, and I'm only doing it on one side. What does the other side even have? Looks like nothing. Perfect. All the better. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and join all these. And then I just need to make a plate that this sits on to go kind of between the different rails, as you can see here. Just need to make that real quick. Let's see. Really detailed photos beneath the station and the train sensors. That'd probably be cool. That poor ride. I think it's the only Boomerang to have been demolished thus far, which is kind of crazy. They have like a better survival rate than B&Ms, which is like ridiculous. Make sure not to eat greasy food at theme parks. Learn that the hard way. Yep, it can get to you. just a thin rectangle here that this is going to rest upon. We do need to make this just run a little bit longer. So it does need to run between the cross ties and everything. I also think our brake scale might be a little bit off. We might need to shrink it down a little bit, which is fine, because we can at least make some minor modifications here without screwing up our geometry too much. That will. I get a... Oh, we're going to play this game. Shrink it down. Just, yeah, that honestly. All right. Did it has kept a bolt from it. That's cool. What flat ride have you ridden once and never again? I don't know if there's one. Can we ride the model when it's finished? I wish. But I don't know if there's a flat ride I've ridden and I'll never ride again. I'm trying to think if there is one. There have been some bad ones. Mostly just like from a getting sick perspective. But none that I would say I would never ride again. Got a super faded, beat up employee hat. Oh, that's kind of sad. Poor New Orleans. Both the city and the park. Alright, let's do probably red as well. We'll do faded red. There we go. Yeah, swinging ships, that's fair. I'll say probably, I guess the closest thing to a ride that I will never ride again is a Intamin looping starship, because I've rode both that were in the US and now neither of them are in existence anymore. So I have ridden those and I will never ride them again. But not for the, oh, I don't want to join that. But not for the reason that I guess you're asking for. Actually, I guess I want, hold on, how do I want this to move? I gotta think about that before I merge these. I think the way I want it to move is like this. Yeah, that moves out. That moves out and in to actually open and close. I think that's how I want this to work. So let me join these two. And then I can join this, I think. And then I will parent that to that. So now we can move this, yep, and this will move independently. Perfect. Okay, that's what we want there. Resting position for this could be something like that, and then let's go ahead and mirror. I can mirror off of this. A little close there, but actually I think I'm gonna have to manually do this anyway. So if we apply this modifier and then just go ahead and move this. Holy crap. All right, there we go. Move it very uniformly there. Local? Yeah, thank you. Are we even here? Make sure we're lining up flat. No, we're not flat. Is that an issue with the mirroring? Why is this not mirroring flat? I got a solution. Do that, but that's not what I'm looking for. That would be why. It's fixable. Make sure this is spot on, or else it's going to be off, and it will be off for all of these, which would not be fun. Brake, I'm going to move you out of the way. Oh, we got that pretty close. This one. Let's try 0.06. A little more. 0.04. This is a fun game you get to play with Blender. Are we going the wrong way? That's the wrong way. Minus 0.003. 8. Getting closer. I really do not need this to be this precise, but we're going to play it anyway. I feel lucky to have ridden one at my home park. I assume you mean... Yeah, SNS Sky SWAT. Yep, that's a cool ride. I'm jealous of you for that. Not a great time to get distracted. But Alright, you know what? I'm going to say that that right there is just about fine. Let's go ahead and move this over to a distance we want. Can put this back to get an idea what this will look like. Brake resting position will be about there. Clear that parent for now. Can also go ahead and mirror this. It's still not flat. I think this is an issue with our brake fin itself, because we noticed that earlier, which is honestly going to be fine because we're not actually going to mirror this, but we do need a little more space here. We do need these to be two separate pieces, so we can't get away with mirroring them. There we go. I think that is pretty much how we want this to be. We can go ahead and apply this, and then parent, and delete this, and I believe, yep, we have our brakes. Only took an hour. Probably would have taken me 15 minutes if I did it not on a stream, but we have our brakes. Woohoo! I'm gonna go ahead and extend these little thingies, these little air hoses, just a little more. And we got it. We have our brakes. Woohoo! Roller coaster brakes. They're done. Let me make sure it looks right. I mean, yeah, I'd say that looks just about the same. A little wider, but we can have a little bit of artistic freedom with that, because I do want it to be very obvious that these brakes are opening and closing. Let's put them underneath the train here and see how they interact with our brake fins we got. You know what? Better fit than I was expecting. Ignore the weird shading. That's gonna just exist for a minute. Put these down on track level here. And yeah, they're not exactly square to the track. That's fine. But yeah, no, that fits just about perfectly. About 1 car per brake, which is roughly accurate, I think. Brakes might be a little bit too large, but we're gonna send it. Do I have any photos that show that? I'm gonna have it for an arrow, which is probably the same. Does this show it? No, that doesn't show the brake. I know I have these photos somewhere. Aha. Oh, nice and blurry. Very helpful. Here we go. Oh, I should have used this photo from the beginning. This is clearly much better. Dang it. Well, man, there are some details we could have hit there that we didn't, but you know what? It's okay. It is okay. Alright. Time to take a break. Yeah, break's done. Time to take a break. Alright. Just checking to see if I missed anything on here. If you guys have any other questions for me, feel free to ask them. This is your chance. And then I'm gonna mess with the brakes here. So I do want to not put these brakes in the station. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. I think actually I'm gonna have to copy it like this. As the station itself, I want to use, I mean, there'll be one of these, but I'm gonna use the magnetic brakes because we're just going all in on the new Boomerang. But for the space between lift, the looping and lift 2, I do need mechanical brakes there. So let's figure out how many are supposed to be there. 7. I'm counting 7 on this reference image here. So we're gonna go with that. Least favorite coaster. My least favorite coaster of all time was Nighthawk at Carowinds, but it is now removed. So I no longer have a least favorite coaster. That ride sucked. And the other flying coasters were at least decent rides, but that one in particular just sucked. Alright. Okay, if I do the array, yeah, we'll probably do an array modifier here, even though I'm gonna have to do these individually. Although honestly, thinking out loud here about how this could work, would you ever come to the UK, and if so, what parks would you visit? Yeah, I'd love to visit some parks in the UK. Alton Towers, of course, top of the list, but beyond that, I would definitely say Pleasure Beach and the surrounding pier parks look quite interesting. I'd like to probably hit a fair as well. Alright, let's add an array. And cool, looking good. Let's, we wanted what, 7? Did I count? I forgot already. Let me recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7. 1 for each car. That makes sense. Why was Nighthawk my least favorite? It was just incredibly rough, incredibly painful, in a way that a roller coaster like shouldn't hurt. Like the way it hurt, it just hurts your like knees. Like I don't even know how that's possible. It's your bench press, 275, 265. Move this along the curve here. Actually, first, Cursor. There we go. We're now along the ride. We're just a little bit off. There. I don't know what's going on here. I think we're backwards. Yeah, the brakes are definitely a little bit too large. Well, it should be 7, not 15. Oh no, we're actually in the right area. Thank God. Closest thing you've ridden to Nighthawk was Batwing at SFA. Forced to put on half a watch in the day. Made my screen detach. That's pretty insane. No, I always thought I did ride Batwing more recently than Firehawk, obviously, or Nighthawk, and I always thought Batwing was pretty okay. Not near as bad as the other two, which is interesting because they're the same ride. But yeah, I think there's a noticeable difference in how those ride. I would not say Nighthawk is a bad ride. Or sorry, I would not say Batwing is a bad ride. I would say Nighthawk is a bad ride. Alright, I think that's about what we want there. I may actually increase the length of that section I was editing before. Alright, then our brake pads are over here. We're gonna need to grab those. Yeah, this was poorly planned. I forgot I still had those parented. God, where are you? That's my 3D cursor, right? Oh my God, can I just please select? There we go. Cursor selected and selected the cursor. There we go. Now local. Move our brake fins over here. And we're gonna clear parent and keep transform. Because these things need to be mounted here. But this is gonna be massive. Don't know what you mean by this is gonna be massive, but sure. What if could I possibly, thinking about if I could array this and then connect, yeah, I might do that. Let's do that. Gonna have to change the spacing considerably, but this might be our method here. So to this thing's actual location. And wrong thing. Oh my God, what? Where did they go? I screwed up, but like, why are we up here? Oh my God, can I not? Control Z, thank you. That's weird, okay. Did I name these? No, I did not. Oh boy. Well. Cube 16 seems to be MIA, so. Where the heck did that go? Oh, there it is. Why is it up here? Oh, because I already moved it to. Alright, there we go. Alright, we're now close to where we want to be. Gonna have to make a few modifications, but nothing that can't be done at least. I've built this part by part. Oh, yeah, this is pretty close to part by part. I'm definitely going in a little more detail than probably necessary, but I do like the idea of being able to reuse these models, and that is one nice thing about this. Okay, so we're in the right area here, but we need to increase our factor of this. So we're somewhere between 1.1 and 1.2. So let's try 1.15. Ooh, that's pretty close. Almost on the first attempt. Don't stay like that though. 1.4. How are we looking? A little further back than we need to be. Up a little bit, I think. Hold on. 3. Now we're actually just not quite aligned. But truthfully, that is not the end of the world. 1.4 gets us right about where we need to be. If we can just move. Do I try? I think I try. I don't want to die. This is going to be awful. Here we go. Ooh. All right. Now we can adjust more finely. I just don't want it going through that there. Okay, that's pretty much what we want there. I'll take that. Let's go ahead and apply our modifiers. Save. Always save. And then we'll go ahead and mirror it. Actually, should I have applied that? Probably not. Let me not apply that yet. Let me... If I just mirror it, it's not going to work. Because I need these to be able to open and close. SeaWorld's Pipeline. Yeah, that's a nice ride, honestly. It can be very, very scary, for sure, when you get airtime while standing up. Definitely throws you off, but it's very cool. Big fan. Looks better than some Chinese knockoff boomerangs, yeah. That's good to hear, I guess. Alright, you know, it might... I'm gonna hate myself for this, but... If we... Can I copy modifiers? No, I don't think so. I'm shocked I can't. Blender lets you do everything. But we can still make this work. Let me just add the same. Exact modifiers. And curve. And location to cursor. Yeah, there we go. Play the same game. I'm moving this slightly over and along the track. I really should not have made all these the same color. Oh well. Doesn't, and I do want a bigger break in the brakes, bigger gap in the brakes than is actually on the ride, because I want it to be very obvious in the animation that these are opening and closing. So there's a little bit of artistic interpretation involved, but that's okay. I'm gonna have to rotate this a little bit too. probably. Oh no, looks all right. Oh, no, it doesn't. Ugh. Lower the Z first of all. Just a little gap. That looks about right there. These are actually looking like brakes, guys. We're kind of getting there. But yeah, we do need to rotate this a little bit, which is going to be pain. Increase that slightly. That's too much. Let's try that. Move this over. Oh my god, it's so sensitive because of how far away it is. Jeez. Alright, I want it to be just up here where the top brake is, just barely not intersecting. You know what? That there will be fine. We have brakes! Woohoo! Now I think we can apply our modifiers. Do you happen to know who the manufacturer is of a certain water slide? Wondering who manufactured Whitewater Rapids at Dorney. I don't know if that's a water slide, but if you mean the water, like rapids ride, I believe that is an Intamin. But I could be wrong. It might be someone else, but I'm pretty sure, pretty sure it's an Intamin. If not, I'm sure somebody in the chat knows. Alright. Origin to geometry. Origin to geometry. And there we go. We have brakes. So now, when our coaster train comes by, we can go psh, psh, close the brakes, and they work. Yes, we can animate that. Yay, we did it. So we now have the Lift 2 brakes installed and functional, or at least as functional as we're going to make them. So that is a win. Sweet, looks pretty good too. Next thing we need to make is probably going to be our station brakes and catch car, but I think that's going to be for another time. Dorney has these body slides called Whitewater Rapids. Let me check. I can probably maybe tell you. I'll Google it. Slide. Water slide complex. If it's Dorney Park and it's any time recently, it probably is a whitewater. I have found it. I would guess whitewater, but I don't know the specific. But yes. Let me just check the chat one last time, and I think we're going to end it here. So, are boomerangs prone to vowing in the cobra roll when going backwards? Not prone to, but it is possible. It is something that Vekoma plans for, clearly, with the catwalk existing over here. On what park is it based off, the boomerang? No specific park. It is just based off of boomerangs in general. Several different ones have been used as references for making this ride, so no specific park. And honestly, on second thought, I may just use mechanical brakes in the station for pure simplicity. And the manual that I have is also for one with mechanical brakes, so probably best. Does Whitewater make mostly body slides? They make a mix of both body slides and tube slides. I would definitely say personally, I think that they're not... Oh, thank you very much, Kieran. Much appreciated. It's your third super on a live stream. Holy cow, dude. Much appreciated. Just whitewater, make mostly body slides. So they make a good mix of slides, both raft and body slides. I would say, though, as far as comparing to their competition, they're probably better overall at making body slides than Pro Slide. And their raft slides, I would say Pro Slide is a little bit better at. So they're probably more known for body slides, but they do make both. Then have catwalks, yeah. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in for this live stream. Have you ridden tube slides from the 90s? They're so aggressive. Some of them can be, definitely. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this stream, guys. I hope you guys had fun, enjoyed the chill atmosphere as we made this Boomerang come to life a little bit more. When you guys see the video, it's most likely going to be out this Saturday, 8 a.m. at the usual time. Oh my gosh, thank you. You guys are too kind. Too kind indeed. Glad you guys were able to make it. Hopefully you enjoyed. We can keep these streams going. If you guys enjoy them, we can absolutely do more of them in the future. And when you see this video on Saturday, most likely, pending any changes to the schedule, you can know that you got to watch these breaks get made in real time. So, kind of neat. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see